Jax's revenge domain. Security will escort you to your desk. Those words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. After 6 years at Pinnacle Industrial Solutions, this is how it ends? One printed email on Margaret's mahogany desk, and suddenly I'm a security risk. My name is Jordan Pierce. I'm 47 years old, and I just got fired for the crime of looking for better opportunities after being passed over for promotion 3 straight years. But here's the thing Margaret Hayes didn't know when she pulled that trigger. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting karma do its job. I consider this completely disloyal, Margaret said, her voice sharp enough to cut steel. She was sitting behind that massive oak desk she loved so much, tapping a printed email with those perfectly manicured nails. After everything Pinnacle has invested in you. Invested in me? That's rich. I'd been sitting in that uncomfortable visitor's chair for all of 3 minutes, but it felt like an hour. The shock of being called into her office at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning had worn off fast, replaced by this sick feeling in my gut. Jordan, don't even think about denying it, Margaret continued, sliding that printed email across her desk like she was dealing a losing poker hand. I have confirmation you interviewed with Summit Manufacturing Group last Thursday. You took a personal day, said it was a family emergency. The thing is, over those 6 years at Pinnacle, I'd grown our industrial client base by 40%, brought in contracts that kept the lights on and the paychecks coming, built relationships with manufacturers across the Midwest that trusted me personally, not just the company, but apparently none of that mattered when you dared to explore your options. Security will escort you to your desk. Margaret's voice had all the warmth of a January morning in Chicago. You can collect your personal items, but your building access is terminated immediately. She slid my company keycard across the desk like it burned her fingers to touch it. The unfairness of it burned in my chest like bad whiskey. 3 years. 3 straight years I'd walked into this same office with detailed presentations, showing my sales numbers, industry benchmarks, and requests for the VP sales promotion I'd more than earned. 3 years of budget constraints and restructuring delays while Margaret announced record profits at every quarterly meeting. I stood up slowly and straightened my tie. I understand, I said, keeping my voice level despite everything churning inside me. Margaret looked almost disappointed by my calm response. Maybe she expected me to argue, beg for my job, or make a scene she could use to justify her decision to HR. Instead, I reached across that desk and offered my hand. I wish you and Pinnacle continued success. She hesitated for a second, clearly thrown off by my professionalism, then gave me the briefest handshake possible. Confusion flickered across her face like she couldn't figure out why I wasn't falling apart. Walking to my desk with a security guard trailing behind me felt like something out of a bad corporate movie. I packed up my family photos, my industry awards, and 6 years' worth of accumulated desk items into a cardboard box, while my coworkers shot me worried looks from their cubicles. I just smiled and nodded to each of them. No drama, no big emotional scene, just quiet dignity. Steve Collins from accounting caught my eye and mouthed, "What the hell?" I just shrugged and kept packing. Whatever gossip was going to spread through the office, I wasn't going to add fuel to that fire. As I walked through those glass doors for what I thought would be the last time, the April sun hitting my face felt different somehow. Warmer, like it was welcoming me to something new instead of saying goodbye to something old. Margaret thought she was punishing me, teaching me a lesson about company loyalty and knowing my place. She had absolutely no idea how wrong she was. My phone buzzed with a text message as I loaded that cardboard box into my car trunk. Alan Rodriguez, CEO of Summit Manufacturing Group. Can we move our final discussion to today at 2 p.m.? Something's come up that changes our timeline. I smiled for the first time all morning. Margaret had no clue what was coming her way. You know, it's funny how 6 years of your career can fit into one cardboard box. Driving home from Pinnacle with that box rattling around in my passenger seat, I found myself thinking about everything that had led to this moment. Every late night, every difficult client I'd smoothed over, every sale I'd closed that other guys had given up on. I joined Pinnacle right after my previous company got bought out by some private equity firm that immediately started cutting costs and people. I was 41 then, with almost 20 years of industrial sales experience under my belt, but in this market, experience only counts if people are willing to pay for it. Despite my track record, I'd started at Pinnacle in a mid-level account manager role, handling their second-tier clients and doing the grunt work nobody else wanted. The kind of accounts where you spend half your time putting out fires and the other half explaining why delays weren't your fault. But I worked like my life depended on it. Stayed late when everyone else was heading home to dinner with their families. Took on the difficult accounts that had burned through 2 or 3 reps before me. Built real relationships with plant managers and purchasing directors who'd been dealing with smooth-talking salesmen for decades and could smell BS from a mile away. Within 18 months at Pinnacle, I'd worked my way up to managing their major accounts, not because someone handed me a promotion, but because I made myself indispensable. When Hartwell Manufacturing was about to walk away after their 3rd account rep in 2 years, I took over and turned that relationship around completely. When Midwest Steel was threatening to sue over a delivery disaster, I spent a weekend driving to their plant in Indiana to sort it out face to face. By year 3, the big fish came swimming my way. Summit Manufacturing Group, Pinnacle's biggest client, representing about 30% of our annual revenue. Their previous account manager had basically disappeared after a supply chain crisis, leaving Summit hanging with no communication and a warehouse full of the wrong parts. Alan Rodriguez, Summit's CEO, was ready to fire Pinnacle entirely when Margaret asked me to step in. "One last chance," she'd said. "Don't screw this up." I didn't just not screw it up. I rebuilt that relationship from the ground up. Spent 3 days at Summit's main facility in Milwaukee, learning their processes, understanding their pain points, figuring out what they actually needed instead of what we thought they needed. "You're the first guy who's asked to see our production floor," Alan told me on day 2. "Most sales reps just want to take us to dinner and talk about golf." I'm not much of a golfer, but I understood their business. Within 6 months, Summit had not only renewed their contract but doubled their order volume with us. They started referring other manufacturers our way. Alan specifically requested that all Summit business go through me personally. "Jordan gets it," he'd told Margaret during one of our quarterly reviews. "He understands our industry in a way that goes beyond just moving products." Margaret was thrilled at the time. "This is exactly the kind of initiative we value at Pinnacle," she'd said during my year 3 performance review, but somehow that value never translated into my paycheck or my title. My first formal request for promotion to VP Sales came right after that Summit success. I'd prepared a comprehensive presentation showing not just my individual sales numbers, but how my relationships had impacted the entire company's growth, industry benchmarks, salary comparisons, the whole 9 yards. "It's just not in the budget this year," Margaret had explained with that practiced look of concern she'd perfected. "But your contribution is definitely noted. We'll revisit this next year when things stabilize." I accepted it then. The economy was still shaky from the recession, and companies everywhere were being conservative. I figured loyalty and patience would pay off eventually. Besides, I was learning constantly, building my network, becoming the kind of industry veteran that clients trusted. Year 4 brought 4 major new clients and an industry award for account management excellence. My sales numbers were 23% above target, and I'd personally saved 2 major contracts that other reps had bungled. When promotion discussion time came around again, I was confident things would be different. "Next year will definitely be better," Margaret promised with that same rehearsed regret. "We're going through some restructuring right now, but your performance hasn't gone unnoticed. Let's plan on revisiting this in the summer." Meanwhile, Margaret was driving a brand new Lexus SUV to work every day, and Pinnacle had leased an additional floor in our building for expansion. The company was clearly doing well, but somehow there was never room in the budget for recognizing the guy who'd brought in 1/3 of their revenue growth. Still, I stayed loyal. I believed that hard work and results would eventually speak for themselves. I mentored the younger reps, shared my client relationships when it benefited the company, and put in the overtime without complaint. I was a company man in the old school sense. The 3rd rejection came 6 months ago, right after I'd negotiated a 35% increase in Summit's annual contract value, the biggest single deal in Pinnacle's history, and it was entirely due to the relationship I'd built with Alan and his team over 3 years. "Your performance continues to be outstanding," Margaret had said, "but we're investing heavily in new technology systems this year. The timing just isn't right for major salary adjustments. Let's circle back on this after the summer." That's when something finally clicked in my head. Not anger exactly, but clarity. I was 47 years old with over 20 years of experience, managing accounts worth millions of dollars, and I was still being managed like a junior associate who should be grateful for steady employment. That night, I updated my resume for the first time in 6 years. Not because I was mad at Margaret or wanted to hurt Pinnacle, but because I finally realized that no amount of loyalty was going to change this dynamic. Some companies just don't know how to value what they have until it's gone. I started putting out feelers quietly. A few LinkedIn connections, some casual conversations at industry events, nothing dramatic. The market for experienced industrial sales managers was actually pretty strong if you knew where to look. Summit Manufacturing had been expanding aggressively, and word was they were looking for someone to head up their vendor relationships and strategic partnerships. When Alan mentioned they might be interested in talking, I figured it was worth exploring. I just never expected Margaret to find out before I was ready to have that conversation. At home, I sat at my kitchen table with that cardboard box of my professional life sitting next to me. The reality was finally sinking in. I wasn't just between meetings or taking a personal day. I was unemployed for the first time since college. My phone rang. Steve Collins, my golf buddy who ran a small consulting firm downtown. "Mark Thompson just called me," he said when I picked up. Mark worked in IT at Pinnacle and played poker with Steve every Friday night. What the hell happened over there? Margaret found out I'd been interviewing, I said, still processing it myself. Apparently that qualifies as disloyalty these days. After 6 years? Steve's voice was getting heated. After everything you've done for that place? Everyone knows you're the only reason Summit has stayed with Pinnacle this long. Margaret's intimidated by you because you're better at client relationships than she ever was. There was truth in that. Margaret had been Pinnacle's top sales performer before moving into management 4 years ago, and I could tell she missed the client interaction. Lately, she'd been inserting herself into my Summit meetings more and more, trying to maintain that direct relationship even though it was clearly my expertise keeping them happy. "The worst part is how she did it," I said, feeling that flash of anger again. Like I'd committed some kind of corporate crime just for exploring my options after 3 years of being passed over. "It's her loss," Steve replied firmly. "And honestly, Jordan, maybe this is exactly what needed to happen. You've been undervalued there for years. Sometimes you need a push to find out what you're really worth." He was right, of course. I'd stayed at Pinnacle out of loyalty to my clients and because I believed in doing right by the company. But being escorted out by security like some kind of criminal really stung. Still, Steve's words stuck with me as I hung up and stared at that text from Alan Rodriguez. My phone beeped with another call before I could respond to Alan. Unknown number, but I answered anyway. "Jordan Pierce?" a woman's voice asked. "This is Barbara Martinez. I'm on the board at Pinnacle Industrial Solutions." My stomach dropped. Board members don't usually get involved in employee terminations. This could only mean one thing. Margaret had fired me without getting approval, and now they were worried about the fallout. "I understand there was an incident today regarding your employment," Barbara continued. "I'd like to meet with you tomorrow morning to discuss what happened. Margaret may have acted hastily." So, that was it. Margaret had pulled the trigger on firing her most valuable account manager without running it past the board first. Now with Summit potentially at risk, they were scrambling to do damage control. "I appreciate the call, Ms. Martinez, but I've already got some other opportunities in motion," I said, keeping my tone respectful but firm. No point burning bridges, even if I had no intention of going back. A pause. "May I ask what opportunities?" I wasn't about to share details with a Pinnacle board member. I don't think that would be appropriate to discuss right now. Another longer pause. "Jordan, if this is about the promotion you've been requesting, I'm confident we can work something out. The board values your contribution to Pinnacle more than you might realize." The irony was almost painful. 3 years of documented requests for advancement, detailed presentations showing my value to the company, and now suddenly the board was aware of my contributions, after I'd been fired and escorted out by security. "It's not just about the promotion," I replied honestly. "It's about respect and recognizing people's worth before they start looking elsewhere. But I appreciate you reaching out." After hanging up, I finally responded to Alan's text. 2 p.m. works perfectly. Looking forward to our conversation. I showered and put on my best suit, the navy one I saved for closing big deals. As I got dressed, this strange calm settled over me. Margaret thought firing me so suddenly was punishment, but maybe she'd actually done me the biggest favor of my career. That morning had been humiliating, sure, but it was also liberating. I'd given Pinnacle my loyalty, my expertise, and countless hours beyond what they paid for. In return, I'd been undervalued and discarded the moment I showed any sign of looking out for my own interests. Whatever came next, I knew one thing for certain. I'd never again give my best to people who couldn't recognize what they had. Summit Manufacturing headquarters occupied 4 floors of a sleek steel and glass building in downtown Chicago. Unlike Pinnacle's outdated office with its beige walls and worn carpeting that hadn't been updated since the 90s, Summit embraced modern design. Clean lines, open collaboration spaces, and floor-to-ceiling windows with views of Lake Michigan. Taking the elevator to the 15th floor, I ran through what I'd say about my sudden availability without sounding bitter or unprofessional. The key was staying focused on the future, not dwelling on Pinnacle's mistakes. The elevator doors opened, and there was Alan Rodriguez himself, waiting in the lobby area. "Jordan," he greeted me warmly, extending his hand. "Thanks for coming on such short notice. I know this morning was unexpected." Alan's in his mid-50s, with silver-gray hair and a reputation in the industry for being both brilliant and straight-shooting. Those were qualities I'd come to respect deeply during our 3 years working together. "I appreciate the flexibility," I replied, shaking his hand firmly. "It's definitely been an interesting day. Let's talk in my office," he said, leading me through the bustling workspace. Several Summit employees I knew from our regular meetings waved as we passed. It felt more welcoming than my own office had in years. His corner office was understated compared to Margaret's showpiece, but much more comfortable. Chairs arranged for actual conversation rather than intimidation tactics. A coffee setup that actually looked used, not just for show. "Coffee?" he offered. "I make it strong." Once we both had steaming mugs, he got straight to business. No small talk, no dancing around the topic. I appreciated that about Alan. He never wasted time on corporate BS when there were real issues to discuss. "I got a very interesting call from Margaret Hayes this morning," he began, settling back in his chair. "She informed me that you'd no longer be handling the Summit account and that she'd personally manage our relationship until Pinnacle assigns a replacement." I nodded, keeping my expression neutral despite the surge of anger at hearing that. Of course, Margaret would try to swoop in and take over the relationship I'd spent 3 years building. Probably figured she could charm Alan the same way she handled the board. "What Margaret doesn't know," Alan continued, "is that we've been having serious concerns about our relationship with Pinnacle for the past 6 months. That caught me off guard." "Concerns?" "Our last project came in 15% under budget and 3 weeks ahead of schedule. The results were excellent because of your work," he agreed, leaning forward. "But we've noticed changes at Pinnacle over the past year that have nothing to do with your performance. Slower response times on routine requests, quality issues with anyone except you, and frankly, a sense that they're taking our business for granted." He paused to sip his coffee. 4 months ago, our procurement team suggested we start exploring alternative suppliers. I pushed back because of our relationship with you specifically. You've consistently shown an understanding of our operations that goes way beyond the typical vendor relationship. My mind was racing. Was he saying what I thought he was saying? "When you reached out about potential opportunities here," Alan continued, "it felt like perfect timing. But I want to be completely clear. We never intended to poach you from Pinnacle. We respect professional boundaries too much for that kind of move. We were prepared to wait until you gave proper notice." "I was planning to give 2 weeks' notice once I had a solid offer," I said, wanting him to know I'd intended to handle everything professionally. Alan smiled for the first time since I'd arrived. "I never doubted that. Your professionalism is one of the main reasons we're having this conversation." He opened a folder on his desk and slid a document toward me. "This isn't really an interview anymore, Jordan. It's a job offer. VP of Business Development. You'll be building and leading a team to manage all our vendor relationships and strategic partnerships." I glanced down at the paper and my breath caught. The salary figure was $140,000. Almost double what I'd been making at Pinnacle, and significantly more than I would have even dared ask for in my most optimistic promotion request. "This is very generous," I managed to say. "It's market rate for someone with your experience and proven track record," Alan corrected. "Sometimes you have to step outside a situation to realize what you're actually worth in the marketplace." That evening, the signed offer letter sat on my kitchen table, ready to return Monday morning. I'd asked Alan for the weekend to review everything, though we both knew what my answer would be. Taking time for major decisions was just good business practice, even when the choice was obvious. My phone had been buzzing all afternoon with texts from former colleagues at Pinnacle. Word of my firing had spread through the office like wildfire, followed by rumors about my meeting at Summit. I responded to a few close work friends but stayed clear of office gossip. No point adding fuel to that fire. A text came through from Mark Thompson in IT. Margaret called an emergency meeting after you left, told everyone you were terminated for violating company loyalty policies, reminded us that Pinnacle rewards loyalty above everything else. Nobody was buying it. I shook my head. Margaret was trying to make an example of me, but from Mark's message, her strategy seemed to be backfiring completely. When you fire your top performer for looking elsewhere after years of being passed over, people start wondering if they should update their own resumes. Another text arrived from Lisa Wilson, our office manager. She's been locked in her office making phone calls all afternoon. Looked stressed as hell. Someone's definitely worried about keeping Summit happy. I didn't respond to either message. There was no satisfaction in Margaret's panic. Only renewed certainty that I'd made the right choice to explore other options. A company that demands loyalty but offers nothing meaningful in return isn't worth another day of your life. Monday morning, I walked into Summit Manufacturing as their new VP of Business Development. The corner office with lake views, company parking spot, and genuine respect from colleagues felt like stepping into a completely different world. Alan had arranged everything in advance: technology setup, team introductions, even a welcome lunch with the executive staff. What Margaret didn't know, and what I was about to discover, was that Summit had been planning to end their relationship with Pinnacle for months. My hiring just gave them the perfect person to manage that transition. Tuesday afternoon, Alan called me into his office. "I wanted you to see this before it goes out," he said, sliding an email draft across his desk. "We've finalized our decision about Pinnacle." I read it twice, barely believing what I was seeing. After careful evaluation of our vendor relationships and operational requirements, Summit Manufacturing has decided to transition our industrial supply contract to Apex Strategic Partners, effective immediately. This decision reflects our evolving business needs and quality standards. Jordan Pierce, our VP of Business Development, will manage the transition process and serve as your point of contact. We appreciate our past partnership with Pinnacle Industrial Solutions. The email was scheduled to send Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., exactly 1 week after Margaret had fired me. I could picture her reaction perfectly. The shock, then the dawning realization. She hadn't just lost me. She'd lost Summit, a client representing 30% of Pinnacle's annual revenue, and I would be the one managing their departure, working with a competing supplier to make sure the transition went smoothly. The perfect professional revenge had basically fallen into my lap without me having to orchestrate anything. I didn't need to badmouth Pinnacle or sabotage relationships. The company's own declining service quality, highlighted by my departure, had done all the work for me. "I want to be clear," Alan said as I finished reading. "This decision was already in motion before you joined us. Your termination just accelerated our timeline and gave us the right person to handle the changeover." "I appreciate that," I replied. "And I'll make sure the transition is handled professionally, regardless of my history with Pinnacle." Wednesday morning at 9:15 a.m., my phone started buzzing. First, a text from Mark. "Holy shit, Margaret's office door has been closed all morning. Lots of shouting." Then from Lisa. "Emergency board meeting called for this afternoon. People are freaking out." By noon, Margaret had tried calling me 3 times. I didn't answer. There was nothing to discuss, and I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction of hearing me gloat or the opportunity to try talking Summit out of their decision. That afternoon, I got a LinkedIn connection request from Mark Thompson, followed by a private message. "Office is complete chaos. 3 other account managers have updated their profiles since yesterday. Word travels fast. Everyone's realizing that loyalty only goes one direction around here." I didn't respond immediately. No point inserting myself into Pinnacle's internal drama or appearing to celebrate their problems. Instead, I focused on building my new team and establishing our vendor evaluation processes. Later that evening, I accepted Mark's connection with a simple message. "Thanks for your friendship during my time at Pinnacle. Best of luck with everything ahead." Taking the high road felt surprisingly satisfying. More satisfying than any comeback or confrontation could have been. 6 months later, I ran into Margaret at the Industrial Supply Expo in Detroit. She was working the Pinnacle booth, looking tired and stressed in a way I'd never seen during my 6 years there. When she spotted me across the crowded convention center floor, she hesitated, then walked over. "Jordan," she said, extending her hand somewhat awkwardly. "I heard you're doing well at Summit." "Very well, thanks," I replied, shaking her hand professionally. How are things at Pinnacle? She managed a weak smile. Challenging, but we're adapting. Learning to work with smaller clients, diversifying our portfolio. What she didn't say, but what I'd heard through industry connections, was that Pinnacle had lost 2 more major accounts in the months following Summit's departure. Turns out I wasn't the only one who'd been carrying relationships that were more personal than corporate. Well, I wish you success, I said, meaning it. Holding grudges is exhausting, and frankly, beneath someone in my position. As I walked away toward Summit's much larger, much busier booth, I realized something important. Margaret had given me the greatest gift possible that Tuesday morning when she fired me. She'd forced me to discover what I was actually worth instead of settling for what someone else thought I deserved. Sometimes the best revenge isn't something you plan or execute. It's simply the natural consequence of knowing your value when others don't. The sweet satisfaction of watching someone realize exactly what they threw away, while you're building something better somewhere else. These days, I mentor young sales professionals who are struggling with similar situations. My advice is always the same. Loyalty should flow both ways, know your worth in the marketplace, and never be afraid to bet on yourself. Most importantly, when someone shows you who they really are through their actions, believe them the first time. Margaret thought she was teaching me a lesson about loyalty that morning. Turns out she was right, just not in the way she intended. I learned that true loyalty starts with being loyal to yourself and your own professional growth. Everything else is just business. The greatest career lesson I ever learned came disguised as the worst day of my professional life. Sometimes what feels like punishment is actually liberation. You just need the courage to walk through the door that someone else slammed in your face.